neighbor just decided to mow.
Tom, if you can hear us, I think you need to click on enable audio on your device or join with audio or something to that effect. It would be call in audio or something like that. And just everybody's FYI, we are actually live now, but I want to make sure Tom can get in.
Steven?
Yeah.
I can't hear you very well.
You said that, Valerie?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can you hear everybody else?
No, I don't hear. I don't hear anybody very well, actually.
Anybody else? Seven?
Okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Ish.
We'll try to get Tom on real quick. I'm here. Oh, Tom's on. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure. I think everybody's on and we should be good, Eric. Sorry for the delay. I'll kick it over to you.
All right. And hopefully I see Councilmember Pearman's putting on some headphones. I'm going to give her a second. Councilmember Pearman, are you hearing better with the headphones by any chance? Do you hear me?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, great. All right. Well, hello, everybody. It is now a little after 6. And so with that, Mayor Stilo, would you call the work session to order, please?
Yeah, let's call this work session to order. April the 7th, 2020. I guess that's it.
All right, thank you, sir. And tonight's work session is on the topic of North Kansas City infrastructure report card and pump station issues. So just as a matter of housekeeping, you will not see me on screen, but I can see all 9 council members. And I'd like to just note for the record that all 8 council members plus the mayor. So I'd just like to note for the record that all members of the governing body are present on this virtual meeting. And what we'll do is we are going to have you muted. And then as we practiced last week, if any of you during the time of the presentation has any questions or anything they want to discuss, if you could just wave, then I will recognize you. And then Stephen will unmute you so that you can ask your question or make your comment. So with that, I'd like to call on the Public Works Director, Pat Hauber, to begin the presentation.
Great. Good evening, folks. Got lots to go over here, and I hope I can make it all clear to you. But anytime you have a question, just raise your hand, I think is what's in mind.
Right.
A few years ago, Public Works Department created a report on the city's infrastructure. The main report is tweaked each year, but generally it doesn't change greatly from year to year. A couple of years ago, we began providing a staff assessment of the condition and performance of the infrastructure and actually made an infrastructure report card. It is meant to serve as a tool for planning and financing needed improvements. Tonight, I wish to update you on the report card, in particular, discuss the condition of streets and our pump stations. You might notice that it's hard that each year there's very little change in grades to the infrastructure. And first, we're going to start out with alleys, streets and alleys. That is close to being changed, but we'll go from there. There were over 30 emergency snow and ice events in 2019 that required city crews to pre-treat streets and salt and remove snow and ice. Like most of the cities in the region, record amounts of potholes and other asphalt street failures appeared as ice and snow on the streets thawed. City crews repaired over 25 potholes. the road district asphalt contractor milled and overlaid 9 alleys and portions of alleys that degraded in the winter months, after the winter months. In addition, the road district milled and overlaid 4 streets within the PID. The total cost of the street repairs by the road district was $338,300. How can this grade be improved? Well, without additional investment, staff does not believe the street conditions grade will be able to improve and rise above a grade C+. And it'll probably decline unless there's a substantial increase in mill and overlay projects. The road district receives approximately $230,000 annually from Clay County, and currently the fund balance is approximately $1.1 million. This is inadequate funding for the number of mill and overlay projects that need to be accomplished currently and in the years to come for overall street conditions ratings to improve. The staff memo, in the staff memo, it was said that the city may want to consider allocating funding to the road district from the gaming fund for the next few years to be used specifically for increasing the number of overlays each year. I attend each road district meeting, and the road district is all for that. But in light of the events in the last month, that is not realistic this year. And we do believe this bears consideration in the future years as the circumstances permit. So I think we're going to forego that proposed action. Any questions about that? Okay. The next we'll talk about is curbs, sidewalks, and drainage structures. They have last year's grade was a B, and this year's grade's a B. And all the infrastructure items are in better condition than 2019. They have been in many years. As long as the progress is made in replacing old catch basins, sidewalks, curbs, and will continue it with annual funding in the range that it has been over the last decade. So we're in good shape with that. City-owned trees, grade B in 2019, grade B in 2020. In 2019, 73 trees were removed and 81 trees were planted, most of which were planted to replace the tree that was removed. The number of ash tree removals has greatly decreased since the Emerald Ash Program began in 2015. Chemical treatments applied to ash trees that were in good condition beginning in 2015, and they're scheduled to be every 3 years, and again in 2018, appear to be working effectively on many of the ash trees, and they're still in good condition. The next time we spray the chemicals, it will be next fiscal year. Water plant, the grade is C, and last year's grade was C, and this year's grade is C. The condition of the water plant has not changed since 2019, but changes are planned. Construction plans are completed, and the project is ready to go out for bid. As noted by the city minister's staff comment in your regular agenda, we plan to put this on pause and not put it out for bid for at least a short time to get a handle on the full effects of the COVID-19 crisis on the city's finance. This is a $13 million project that was supposed to come from gaming. And
Councilmember Clevenger is waving his hand. Yes, sir.
Yes, I had just a quick question since we're talking about the water plant. Is the water plant stable right now to where it can still run in a short period of time? As far as I know that we're planning on doing the upgrades, and I know it's been running the way it is now. Is there any problem, or is there any cost or issues to the city for letting it go, for however long? Like you said, it sounds like a very short term that you're going to put it on hold. That was just one concern or question that I had, is the water plant stable enough to continue the way it is for right now?
Yes, indeed it is. They got a grade C. Our water quality is great. If we have chlorine in one of the ones on the north coming in, but we have 6 pumps. So the others are further south. And at this point, we're good for a year or two easily. So there's no question about that.
Thank you.
So anyway, how can the grade be improved? Once the water treatment plant is renovated and projects completed, the grade for the condition of the water plant will probably be an A. Move on to water distribution system. Most of the city's water mains were installed over 70 years ago, and water line breaks occur several times a year. Unfortunately, most breaks are located under streets, which takes more time and resources to repair, and restoring the pavement is costly. In 2019, water crews repaired 4 breaks that were not located under streets. There were 3 breaks that staff relied on a city repair contractor to assist in repairing. The reason we do that is we don't have the large excavators that it takes to get into and tear up a street and make those repairs. Onto the water valve replacement program. Over the past several years, staff found that many of the water turnoff valves were unable to be closed during water breaks. And we couldn't isolate for repairs to water breaks. We couldn't isolate valves. And so we go up a block and sometimes go 2 blocks and isolate a huge area, putting a lot of people out of water. Making these repairs can cause disruption of water. In 2019, water crews replaced 7 large, high priority water valves. The valve replacement program is a multi-year initiative. As valve replacements progress, better grades for the water distribution will be expected. And I just want you to know, this is something that's not fun to do because we're going out there and we have an exercising program and we're turning those valves. There's no water problems. We turn the valves to make sure they're working, and all of a sudden you've got a broken valve and you need to excavate, and often you need to shut down neighboring customers. So, but it's a necessary.
Pat, excuse me, Councilmember Smith has a question.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Pat, just a quick one. Do we know, have we located where all the valves are now? I know at a certain point we didn't even know where they were located because of how long it had been. Do we at least know the locations now?
Yes, we first year and a half anyway, it took. We located the valves. A lot of them were underneath the asphalt. They were underneath the ground, and we mapped them, the locations. We put them on our map. We raised them up. And so that was phase 1 of our program. We've been in the middle of a water main break. We've had to look and search for the water in the past for the water valves. And now I think we're not going to have to do that. All right, sanitary sewer system. Grade B in 2019, still a grade B. It takes a lot for one of these major infrastructure items to change. The sanitary sewer system continues to receive high grades because all 38 miles of old clay sewer pipes were lined between 1988 and the year 2000. There are 3 sanitary sewer pump stations, and in 2019, 2 of them, the 19th Avenue pump station, which is located by 1 North, within 1 North, and the Burlington pump station experienced extensive mechanical problems requiring pump repairs, replacement of sewer grinder, electrical panel, replacement of submersible pump, and such. Repairs were completed at the 19th Avenue pump station in October, but the repairs to Burlington station are still in progress. And I just got word today that they're going to get out there tomorrow, and by the end of the day, Thursday, it will be repaired. We described these in the memo in your packet for this work session. Overall, despite these recent issues, the sanitary sewer system continues to be in very good condition. Storm sewers and pump stations. This is one that fell a little bit. 2019 grade B to 2020 grade B minus. Beginning in mid-March and ending in mid-August, the Missouri River stage level remained high throughout the state of Missouri. In North Kansas City, the stage level reached 35.7 feet in July, which is 3 foot higher than the flood stage. The high river table raised groundwater levels in the PID and up to just 3 foot below the surface, which caused movement and breakage in the large pumps. In the large sewer pipes below the streets, which actually then they became sinkholes. The emergency storm sewer and street repairs were completed in September and at the cost of $743,000 at 470. Then the 2020 sewer budget includes $50,000 for conducting a sewer video investigation to determine if there's additional sewer breaks within the PID from last year. Any chance that we could be proactive on that would be better than doing it under an emergency situation. The river is predicted to once again reach very high levels this year, and there's some current concern that the problems we had last year may reoccur, but it'd be, in my opinion, be doubtful that they'd be that to that extent. Pump stations.
Excuse me, Pat. Councilmember Pearman has a question.
Yes.
Pat, when you give that a grade of a B minus and last year you gave it a grade of a B, does that mean to you that we've had issues, which is why it dropped half a grade? Or do you feel like the infrastructure is weaker now than it was in 2019?
I did it just for the PID staff. And no, I agreed that the PID issues happened last year. They may happen again. And I can't say go with a B anymore. I think it's B minus because we have ongoing concerns about the storm sewers in the PID.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Pump stations. During the 5-month period when the river was up, all 6 stormwater pump stations were activated continuously. And that when they're activated, that means you turn on and you activate it. And then when the water stage turns to a certain level and hits the actual level, the pumps kick on. But we always check to make sure that the level is working. And but anyway, and they were on continuously to keep river water from entering the wet wells in the pump stations and to keep storm water to the river each time it rained. That was an excessive time that pumps were running. Between October 2019 and February 2020, many substantial pump and motor related failures were discovered. These occurred due to the wear and tear from being activated for such a long period of time. Emergency repairs to damaged pumps, motors, and related equipment are in progress as outlined in the memo we packet this work session. As outlined in the memo, we are looking at a budget amendment in the $300,000 range just to get the balance to zero of this line item for fiscal year 2020. I do want to say right now about that, we've looked at that since this was written, and we found that it's not going to be, it's going to be somewhat less than that. And we'll provide the most accurate estimate when we come to the council for a budget amendment next meeting.
I'll just jump in. So Pat this morning indicated that they'd realized that there were some pump station repairs that occurred in were funded out of last year's budget. So it's a little bit less, but we don't want to kid you. It is it's over $300,000 that we're talking about. And then the other point that I just make while I have the floor is that it was actually Councilmember Smith who asked the question. The amount that we had in the memo was enough to really would have just gotten us back to zero. And we do need some money in the budget going forward to get us through the rest of the fiscal year. So in addition to enough to cover the expenses either that we've had or that we anticipate to get all these pump station repairs accomplished, we would ask for a bit more to get us through the end of the year. And we'll outline all of that in a revised memo for your packet when we on your April 21st council agenda.
Yeah. That's what my next line was, something like that. Well, this actually wraps up the grade card report for 2019. The next section contains information about the road district, the levee district, all of the infrastructure, what public works tasks are, and it remains pretty much the same each year. So I'm not going to go through that with you, but if anyone has a question about anything in there, I could probably answer it. Okay, well, that being said, do we want to go back and talk more about pumps?
Well, yeah, only if there are any questions. Yeah, we wanted, the main points we wanted to make were just having to do with the fact that we were going to come to you and suggest that we fund some additional money for roads this year. But again, as Pat indicated, given the events of the last month, that does not seem like a wise thing to do. So we do think we wouldn't recommend that this year. And then we did want to alert you to all the pump station issues that we've had, and the fact that we will need to bring you a very substantial budget amendment at your next meeting. And if all of those things are clear, then unless you had anything else you wanted to talk about, or unless council members have any other questions, I see Council Member Stewart is asking or something. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you know, that grade of C for the roads and everything, I don't really see that myself. I think the streets are fine overall, unless the PID's got some really bad problems. Why was it a C? You know, I mean, why was it that low?
I can answer that. Everything north of Armour Road is probably in B condition, if not, I mean, in good condition. But all the industrial areas, Atlantic, of course, the PID, terrible condition. And they all really got in worse condition after the last winter. And that's where the main problems. It's heavy truck traffic and high water stage levels. So that brings it down.
Yeah, I understand that. And the PID, of course, you know, been an employee before that, you know, it goes year to year depending on the river. You know, 93 is really bad. So it's got to be expected. High rivers will always affect PID. Thank you, Pat.
Well, if you don't mind, I have one comment about the PID.
Mm-hmm.
The road district has this project to do Bedford, and it's over a mile long this summer. And it will be a great improvement. Everybody, I think, knows Bedford is terrible. They're going to mill and overlay all the way from Ingredion to the WPC facility. So it's over a mile, and that's could improve the grade right there.
All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Well, seeing none, Mr. Mayor, if you'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the work session.
Entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Well, it looks like Councilmember Farr and Councilmember Clevenger motioned and Councilmember Farr seconded. And I'll go ahead and ask the city clerk to call the roll then on the motion to adjourn.
You don't. Councilmember Pearman,
Yes.
Councilmember Clevenger,
Guess not.
Stephen, maybe you could unmute everybody for the roll call.
Good grief.
Well, I tell you what, look, this is for a work session. I don't know that we need to have a roll call just to adjourn. We'll try to get it a little bit straighter for the regular meeting, but I think the
No.
record reflect. Okay.
Oh, he's good now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't see it pop up on the screen.
Let's try it this way. Does anybody object to adjourning? If so, wave your hand. All right, let the motion reflect that all members of the council accepted adjournment. So we will see you in about 35 minutes at the regular council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.